Apparently, social media and streaming worked well,
Right.
with only one instance where content wouldn't load
Yeah.
on a crowded street.
Okay, that's relatable.
Yeah.
Even with a good data connection, crowded areas can be a bit of a digital dead zone sometimes.
Definitely.
Welcome to Statements from the Source, the podcast where we cut through the noise and get straight to the heart of the matter. Here, we dive deep into the topics you care about most, unpacking the facts, perspectives, and truths straight from the source. No fluff, no filters, just unfiltered insights, compelling stories, and the conversations that matter. Do you have your own story to tell? Contact us to arrange to visit our podcast studio. Remember to subscribe, like, and share with family and friends. That means a lot to us. Now let us get back to today's discussion. Enjoy.
Ever get that sinking feeling when you land in a new country?
Yeah.
Turn on your phone,
Yep.
and immediately you start worrying about data roaming charges.
Oh, yeah.
I know I have.
Definitely.
But guess what?
Right.
This My Broadband article claims that eSIMs
Okay.
from companies like Saily and Airalo
Uh-huh.
could be the answer to our international data woes.
Interesting.
They even tested these eSIMs out on a trip to Japan.
It's exciting to see eSIMs
Yeah.
becoming a practical solution for travelers.
Mm.
This deep dive is going to get into the nitty-gritty of their experience,
Okay.
costs,
Yep.
ease of use,
Mm-hmm.
and even how those eSIMs handled data-hungry apps.
You know me, I'm all about the details.
Uh-huh.
The article focuses on Saily and Airalo,
Right.
two providers that specialize in data-only eSIMs.
Okay.
But before we go comparing them,
Yeah.
let's make sure everyone's on the same page.
Sure.
What exactly is an eSIM?
It's a bit like this. Remember the days of fumbling with those tiny SIM cards?
Oh, yeah.
Trying to pry them out with a paper clip?
Totally.
An eSIM is basically a digital version of that,
Okay.
embedded right in your phone.
Gotcha.
No more swapping physical cards when you travel.
Makes sense.
You download and activate eSIM profiles directly,
Uh-huh.
kind of like adding a new contact.
So instead of a souvenir SIM card from every country, you've got this digital collection.
Exactly.
Very sleek.
Yeah.
This article mentioned they tested the eSIMs on a couple of different iPhones.
Okay.
An iPhone 15 Pro
Uh-huh.
and an iPhone 16.
All right.
Did they have to do anything special for setup?
It sounds surprisingly simple.
Okay.
Both companies have their own apps
Right.
where you create an account, choose your data plan,
Gotcha.
and follow the instructions.
Sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
No special tech skills needed.
Right.
And that's a huge part of the appeal.
Totally.
Right.
It needs to be user-friendly for travelers on the go. Yeah.
But user-friendly doesn't mean much if the data plans are limited
Right.
or outrageously expensive.
Right.
What kind of options were there?
They had a good range.
Okay.
From a 1 GB plan for shorter trips to a whopping 20 GB if you're planning on some serious streaming or video calls.
Okay.
And the validity periods varied too, from 7 days to a whole month.
Okay. So the flexibility is there.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the real deciding factor.
I know what you're going to say.
Price.
Price.
Especially compared to those dreaded roaming charges
Oh, yeah.
from our usual providers.
Right.
Now, this is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
The article provides a price comparison specifically for Japan.
Okay.
And Saily seems to have the edge.
Interesting.
They've got these things called value-added allocations,
Value-added allocations.
which basically means
Yeah.
you get more data for your money.
Oh, okay.
For example, you could get 25 GB for 431 rands.
Wow.
That's about 17.24 rands per GB. Just to clarify for our listeners, outside of South Africa,
Uh-huh.
rands is the South African currency.
Right.
Hold on, let me do some quick math.
Sure.
That canvas is significantly cheaper than what my South African provider charges for roaming in Japan.
I bet.
But hold on. Good price doesn't mean much if the connection is spotty
True.
or super slow.
Right.
What was the actual experience like in Japan?
The author reported solid coverage
Oh, gosh.
throughout Tokyo, with just a few hiccups in the subway. That's pretty typical for underground networks,
Yeah.
even at home.
True.
And most importantly,
Yeah.
they were able to use essential travel apps like
Okay.
Google Maps
Yeah.
and translate without a hitch.
That's a relief.
Huh.
Getting lost in translation, A&D lost geographically, is my biggest travel nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Did they mention anything about using social media or streaming?
They did.
Okay.
Apparently, social media and streaming worked well,
Right.
with only one instance where content wouldn't load
Yeah.
on a crowded street.
Okay, that's relatable.
Yeah.
Even with a good data connection, crowded areas can be a bit of a digital dead zone sometimes.
Definitely.
What about the speed?
Oh, okay.
Was there a noticeable difference between Saily and Airalo?
This is where it gets a bit technical.
Okay.
The author noticed that Saily mostly connected to LTE networks, while Airalo seemed to favor 5G.
Interesting.
However, they ran a speed test with Saily and clocked in at 70 mps
Wow.
on LTE, which is more than enough for most travel needs.
Yeah, definitely.
It seems like both providers delivered on speed even if they used different network technologies to get there.
So far, it sounds like eSIMs are a win-win.
They really do.
Especially for keeping data costs down.
Absolutely.
But I have a feeling there might be a catch.
There might be a slight catch. You're right.
Right.
There is something important to note.
What's that?
These data-only eSIMs don't come with a phone number.
Wait, so does that mean I can't make any calls? Or send texts?
You'll need to keep your South African SIM active if you want to make calls or send texts.
Okay.
The article actually mentions that the author's provider charges 2.50 rands per minute for local calls in Japan.
Gotcha.
5 rands per minute for international calls.
Right.
2.75 rands per SMS.
Okay.
And a hefty 0.49 rands per MB of data.
Oof.
They were also offered a 1 GB roaming data bundle for 99 rands upon arrival. Tempting.
Yeah.
But when you compare that to the eSIM prices...
It's clear that those eSIMs offer a lot more bang for your buck.
For sure.
So to sum things up, you can't completely ditch your old SIM card just yet.
Right.
But using a data-only eSIM could be a game changer.
Definitely.
For keeping data costs under control while traveling.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And this is just scratching the surface.
Oh, really?
The implications go beyond just saving money on your next trip.
Okay.
We'll dive deeper into those in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds good.